friends. Today we have Vineet, who is one of our Applied AI course students. Thank you, Vineet, for taking the time to share your learning experiences and a very interesting learning journey and experiences that you have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for having me.
So I'll give a brief introduction about your background, and then we'll dive into the specifics. So Vineet finished his bachelor's degree in electronics and communications engineering from Jain University in 2019, after which he had a little career break. And then he joined as an intern in a pharma company. This company works on pharma and life sciences problems. He worked as an intern in this company, working primarily on computer vision and data science problems. And after working there for 4 years, he got converted to a full-time data scientist role. And I have spoken to him in the past about some of the problems that he was solving, because he reached out to us. And I was also very curious to learn what sort of problems pharma companies or life sciences companies were solving in India. So again, I had a great exposure to some of these problems, learning from you. So thank you very much for that great experience that that I got to learn from you also. And again, so your journey is very interesting, because there are two leaps that you have done. From a career break, from an ECE background, you first joined as an intern, a data science related or computer vision intern. And then you delivered a lot of good results during the internship and converted that into a full-time role. So we want to discuss about both aspects.
First of all, I would like to thank you for that support I got from you at the beginning of this internship, when I used to email you every third day regarding, okay, this is what I have tried and this is the result that I got. What should I do next? How should I approach this problem? And the pointers that you gave were phenomenal, and that habit of reading documentation that I got from AAIC, I cannot thank you enough for that, because going through OpenCV documentation for someone who is reading it for the first time, it really felt like just reading a book, because I was so used to reading scikit-learn documentation, Seaborn documentation, Pandas documentation. Then when you tried the production chapter, there was AWS documentation that I went through. So that habit of reading documentation kind of helped me go through OpenCV docs faster.
Very good. So I was just going through some of our email threads. So I've seen an email thread with about 50 emails, but I was very happy because whatever feedback that I or one of our team mentors was providing you, you were working on it and delivering results. And that's the most important part. We would say, okay, try this technique. It's from a classical computer vision technique. Try it out, and you would try it in a day, get back with results. And then we had this nice iterative loop in which you actually built a product which is actually going into production, even as an intern. And that's what matters most. So let's focus on first your interview experience for this internship role. So what was the interview like? Because I believe this company focuses a lot on technical depth and breadth. So let's focus on the data science intern interview experience first.
Definitely. So the bar was not that high, but for an intern, it was quite high enough, I would say, because there were a lot of scenario-based questions. So they would give me a problem that they are currently working on, and then they would expect me to answer, how would you solve this with data science? So some of those were trick questions as to, the answer was, no, this does not require data science. And I did get that right.
Very good. Because if you can just write a simple if-else condition or write a deterministic program, why bother about building an ML model?
Exactly. So their main focus was to see if I throw data science at every problem, or I throw data science just at the right problem, which needs it.
Very nice questions.
Although they were very tricky, because in some questions, they were very meticulous about where would human intervention require.
Because in medical sciences and life sciences, that's very, very important, right?
Yes. And they did not want to fully automate that process, because a lot of their workforce are primarily microbiologists or lead researchers in this field, microbiology, and a lot of plant-based molecular biologists.
Molecular biologists. Okay. Basically, domain experts in biology and related fields. Okay. Cool.
Yes.
So can you elaborate a little more on the individual interviews that you had? Because that will give more clarity to our students and learners on what each round was and what were they focusing on.
Definitely. So first round was a basic Python programming based question where there was a data set given and some 10 questions were there, but those were quite straightforward because we had solved so many complicated assignments in AIC that they felt slightly easy. I would not underestimate or undersell it, saying that it was easy, but because I have been practicing Python for quite a long time, and I was reading books to make sure that I'm not messing up in the coding round. It went slightly swiftly.
Very good.
Compared to normal, and there were object-oriented programming-based questions. Then there were data structures related some questions, but they were not quite hard. They were quite simple.
Simple
data
enough. Structures. What data structures were they focusing on?
The one on sorting algorithm, which you had taught in one of the live sessions, wherein you have to take
straightforward
it
stuff. Nothing very fancy or
nothing
hard.
tricky.
Nothing very CS centric.
No, not CS centric at all. They just wanted to make sure that this guy can code without our help.
Okay, got it. Very good.
Questions like that.
So the first round seems like a pure Python round. What about the second round and the rounds after?
So second round was where there were a lot of scenario based questions. They did not went through the case study as much. They just asked me, okay, what are the projects that you did, and how would you solve one of these? How would you solve this problem given that you have solved this? So, for example, they asked me one question. I can tell the question.
Please,
no issues.
No problem.
So there was this one question wherein they asked me, how would you detect if the same problem that we were solving using OpenCV, the same question they asked.
So the problem that you actually solved during the internship was asked. Okay.
Yes.
This was about detecting some patterns in images in molecular biology.
Yes. How much do I know about image processing, and how can I detect objects, and how can I detect color of an object? So things like that. And my answer was quite straightforward, but I was that's the part where I was slightly messing up because I was throwing deep learning image annotation there. Like, okay, I would annotate the image and then I would create a file structure in which there were multiple microorganisms structured in a file format. So microorganism 1 will be in file 1, 2 in file 2, 3, so on and so forth. And then I will use TensorFlow to train it, and I will split the data in certain format, certain percentage, things like that. And then there were questions regarding, so this was what first question thrown at me. The second one was regards to time series prediction. How would I identify if a certain customer is going to delay? Can there be a way of knowing it or not?
Simple, straightforward time series forecasting and analysis type of problem.
Yes.
Very nice.
But
all these were scenario based. They were actually giving you a real world scenario that they were solving or they were tackling, and they would ask you and look at your approach.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Very good.
So these were in the second round. Third round,
yes.
Third round was by the manager of the person who interviewed me in the second round. And that was quite simple. That was not that technical, but he just wanted to know a general approach I would have against solving problems. He was trying to check whether I give up asked a tricky question or a tough question, and whether I have an optimistic approach or a pessimistic approach, or
more like a culture fit
sort of
behavioral sort of round through some
psychometric type
questions.
of yes.
Got it.
And then the final round was with the director to see if how is my mindset, like how long do I want to stay, what kind of mindset do I have when I work, how do I like to work, how am I when I'm working with a team, what's my general approach to life, life-based question, but not too technical, to see if I would fit in with the team that is currently there, and what happens when there are certain situations when your suggestion is not taken into consideration, and how would you tackle that?
Very good. So sort of like behavioral type of questions, which are
Yes.
important for a senior leader in an organization. Cool,
yes,
cool.
yes.
So now once you got into the internship, so can you elaborate on at least briefly about some of the problems you solved, and how did you convert the internship to a full-time role in about, I think, 3 to 4 months?
Yes. So thanks to you, that happened because we were having continuous communication to and back.
Let us also be realistic that you put in a lot of effort to get the work done. We were just giving you the direction to follow and material to read or experiments to perform. You did all the heavy lifting. So kudos to your hard work, because that's what resulted in the conversion. And most importantly, that's what resulted in you building a real working solution.
Yes. So the problem that they were trying to solve and was in the quality department, and they want to deploy that into production towards their vendors as well. So as you know, that problem took almost 5 minutes per strip for a particular lab person to detect the colors and the microorganisms, and it would take around, if there are multiple strips in a particular series, it would take 5 minutes per strip. So say a series has 5 strips, so 5 minutes per strip takes
just to give the
minutes.
Context to the listeners. I think this problem was about you have a strip which will be, and there will be some biochemicals that it will be that will be poured on top of it. Then wherever there are specific types of microorganisms, they will light up in a specific shape, in a specific color, and a human expert who is a microbiologist can look at it and do some basic expert driven analysis in 5 minutes. And they wanted to automate it as much as possible using computer vision techniques. So, and it's a real problem, right? Again, you're replacing a human expert's time in 99% of the cases, if not all the cases. And for the human expert, it's drudge work. It's not high quality work. You might as well let the algorithm do 99% of it.
Yeah.
Basically color detection, shape detection, object detection, and then count how many are there. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
Cool. Please go ahead.
So it would take 5 minutes per strip for a particular lab person to do that. And the approach I took, I joined interview prep course as well. So I was learning simultaneously how to code better. And I reduced that their time detection time from 5 minutes to merely 6 seconds. And in that 6 seconds, it would detect the microorganism, it would give the prediction, and it would narrow it down to just 3 or 4 microorganisms. At the same time, it would create an Excel file at the back end for them to store, so they don't have to use paper and just tick that, okay, well, one will do, things like that. And this entire process was productionized and deployed into the QA. The director who was looking into this project, he approved it because he saw that we are getting the right microorganisms and we are getting it done quite quickly. I mean, 5 minutes to 6 seconds was a huge leap.
And instead of a lot of human effort, a lot of it was automated, both on the software engineering front as well as on the computer vision image processing front. And I mean, at the end of the day, businesses want to see actual impact. And I think what we have achieved is you have freed up the time of actual microbiologists and experts and tried to automate as much as possible. Of course, you may not be able to automate because in life sciences, they want very, very high accuracy. They don't want false positives. But in most cases, it can be automated. And that is clear business impact.
Yeah.
Right. So my suggestion to all interns, if you're being a data science intern, whatever problem you're assigned to, try and create that business impact in 3 to 4 months. Of course, take help from your peers, understand what is the problem and how much impact would it create. Because I think in your case, this is a phenomenal impact to go from 5 minutes of human effort to almost complete automation.
Yes. And they were quite happy because they were quite skeptic because it was doing all the work in 6 seconds. But later when they saw the results, they verified it and they were quite shocked that, okay, in 6 seconds, that means we can do like in a minute, we can almost complete an entire series of it and still have a data at the back end and then later go through it. We don't have to, keep carrying all the documents every time we do a quality test.
Very good.
That
very
was
good.
hugely.
Very good. Very happy to see this. So I had one more question for you, which is, what suggestions can you give to interns who probably had a career gap and who got into an intern role, a data science or a machine learning or a computer vision intern role? What suggestions would you give them on how to convert that internship into a full-time role?
Ask a lot of questions, even if they get annoyed, because these questions, whatever you ask to the management or your immediate reporting manager, it's going to help you clear your doubts, and it's going to give you a clear path to see what they actually want.
Very nice.
Because if you don't know, you're just walking in the dark and you don't know where to go.
So ask questions to get clarity and deliver results, probably.
Yes. I asked so many questions, and I don't remember how many times I went to the R&D department and asked them a bunch of questions, then come back, try a few things, spoke to you, and implemented that, got the results, went there, showed them the results, then went to my manager. And it was like a iterative process.
No, because you're also new to this whole problem, right? Understanding the business context, the research context, understanding all of this is super important. Otherwise, you will build something which is useless for the organization. You don't want to do that.
Yes.
Very
nice. Many times, so the management is always trying to save as much as money as they can. It's time is important and money is important for companies. How can you reduce their time for the problem that they're trying to solve, and how can you save their money?
That's simple business impact, right?
Yes.
That's it.
So that's the only thing that should matter. But how are you going to effectively use your time? That is also important. So make sure whatever you're doing, it has tangible results.
Very good. Very good suggestions. So any suggestions you have for students who are learning machine learning right now or data science on how, especially folks coming from electronics and communications background like you, what suggestions would you give them on their learning journey to data science, machine learning, and deep learning?
They should have passion for it. They should have a keen interest of knowing things. And they should have that curiosity of experimenting, that because in industry, no one's going to guide you. You have to be your own guide, and you have to dig things up. You have to experiment. So don't be afraid of experimenting. If something's not working today, it will work tomorrow. If not tomorrow, day after, but it's going to work someday.
Very nice. Very nice suggestion, actually. I think a lot of engineers, we were trained not to ask questions, too many questions in the classroom. And experimentation, unfortunately, is not given enough importance, even though we are supposed to be the experimentation guys as engineers, break things, build things, keep breaking them. But it's a very nice suggestion that you mentioned. Ask good questions in your team, and equally importantly, do tons of experiments, because that will help you learn more.
Yes.
Very nice suggestions, Vinith. Anything else that you wanted to add that I may have missed out?
I think you did cover a lot of things, but I have one small thing that I wanted, just a trivia to our entire conversation.
Please.
So I was following you since 2017, since your inception of Applied AI. And that time, the first video I saw of you was explaining SVM, and that video on YouTube. And I was like, oh, wow, I want to join this. But I could not, because at that time I was in college, and my father told me that you complete your graduation and then you join the course. And in 2020, on my birthday, he gifted this course to me.
Oh, thanks to your parents, and especially your dad.
Yeah, so I was quite blown away. I was really happy I was afraid to do it initially, because I was not knowing, because it's a new field. I'm going from EC to AI and software engineering. But all of this goodwill, and I saw your videos multiple times before enrolling, and I was like, yeah, I am feeling confident. I'm feeling like, yeah, this is the kind of teacher, mentor I want. And I got it finally on my birthday. And I was like, okay, now that I have got it, let me just utilize it to my max level. and I went ahead, and here I am.
Again, I'm very happy. This trivia is very interesting. And thanks to your parents and who have given you the course that you wanted. And most importantly, kudos to all of your effort throughout the learning journey of the course itself, and also through your internship when you try to actually build a product that actually makes business impact. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vinit. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for sharing your learning experiences and journey. I'm sure this will help a lot of students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.